applause going for them. And then, of course, for me. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We have Yaron Spiewak and James Harper this morning on music. We're so happy to have them with us.
Good morning.
And a big welcome back to Yaron, who's been traveling the world, doing a big event for Disney in Korea.
Paris.
I was close.
Yeah.
Okay, in Paris.
Bonjour.
I don't know. Bonjour. And then visiting your mom in Israel, right?
Yes, it's true, yeah.
So welcome. And James, it's great to have you back here.
Thanks for having me.
They've got some great music for you all this morning. I was listening in rehearsal, which I so rarely do, and it was fantastic. So they're going to be bouncing around on their different instruments. I'm going to move on before I say something I shouldn't. So I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox. It's my honor and pleasure to look into your eyes this morning and to see the divine looking back at me by means of each one of you. I see some new faces here today, so welcome if you're new with us. We are the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. Welcome to our Sunday morning celebration service. We're a metaphysical new thought community, which means that we welcome all facets and all aspects of life into our spiritual home, whether that be in person, which you all are here today in person, or if you're watching live stream, a big hello to those watching us live stream. We have a pretty tight camera shot today, so if you move to your right, you're out of it, just so you know. Or if you're watching later, for those of you that may watch later on live stream also. We have a new guest from Fort Lauderdale with us today, who's here from the Fort Lauderdale Center for Spiritual Living. Mark, correct? Wow. Get that right. The vision statement for our beloved community is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. What this means is that we honor you on your path of your journey, of your awakening to the divinity that exists within you. In other words, the power of the divine that resides equally among all of us. Today, you'll hear some terminology, if you're new to our philosophy, that's unlike traditional Christian or any other religious philosophy, such as spiritual mind treatment. That's our methodology of prayer. It's in the affirmative sense, so you'll hear that a moment from me. As well as we refer to God as an impersonal indwelling presence that exists equally among all across the universe and is referred to oftentimes as the one power. We practice a philosophy of faith, a teaching here, a way of life, if you will, called the science of mind primarily, which was founded in the early 1900s by the Reverend Dr. Ernest Holmes. We welcome you today. We welcome all races, all religions, all countries of origins, all sexual orientations, all genders, all ethnicities, all abilities. We stand with all of you. As our beloved founder, Dr. David Walker, used to say, we welcome one and welcome all. I'm really happy to be with you here today on this Father's Day, 2018, and share with you what that's going to be like. We've picked some really great music for today. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes, so that's good for us. And hope that this journey this morning is one that awakens within you your divinity, and your soul leaves here today more enriched from being here. We open our service every Sunday morning with a ritual. And that ritual is done by our practitioner of today. I am that practitioner of the day. So I'm introducing to you moi to guide us through that process. Our illuminator today is Jesus Ernesto Reis, who is not only one of our setup guys, our sound guys, an adjunct member to the Board of Trustees, but is a devoted individual here to the center, and we really appreciate him. We have our musicians that will take us on a beautiful journey musically on this, as well as there's a moment for you to sing along with us. So I invite you to just relax and take in this experience. The ritual that we're doing today is acknowledging the religions of the world. And it being this Father's Day, I invite you, when I call forward those religions and Jesus lights a candle for them, that you bring into your mind's eye a father in an environment that practices this religion. And just see the divinity and the light that exists within them as it equally exists within each and every one of us. So let's begin.
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light, calling in
Today we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience. It's that which we honor here today in this ceremony. The first candle that Jesus lights is for the Tao. The Tao is known as the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, also known as the natural way. The second candle is illuminated for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. As we move to the third candle, bringing forth a vision of a father in your eyes, we do so for the beliefs and the philosophy and the religion known as Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Moving to the fourth candle that Jesus lights, we do so for Judaism, that which is practiced in this room a lot, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. Just take a moment and feel the energy of any father that's walked through this particular synagogue, this temple, even those that may be acknowledged on the walls in the back who have passed and moved on. And just honor the light within them and the life that they lived, honoring their religion of living by sacred law. As we move to the fifth candle, Jesus lights that for Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. As we move to the sixth candle, we do so for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness, which is also known as the path of love. As we move to the seventh candle, it's illuminated for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. Jesus lights the ninth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and of peace. As we move to the ninth candle, we light it for all forms of new thought. It's that which we practice here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. And as we do so honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as we move to the 10th and final candle, that which is known as the healing candle, I ask you to take a moment and think of anyone that you would like to silently put into the light of the healing flame. That may be your father, it may be yourself as a father, or just anyone in general. And as we put that individual or individuals into the light of the healing flame, we do so that they may experience and be aware of the eternal and everlasting love of the divine.
Please repeat after me. I am love.
I am love.
I am peace. In my heart, I am free. I am spirit. I am soul. All together, we are all calling in the light, a calling in the light, a calling in the light of love, calling in the light, a calling in the light, a calling in the light of love, a calling in the light of love. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
So I invite you to close your eyes if that feels comfortable as we move into the state of affirmative prayer. Just feeling the energy in the room, the transformed energy as we've gone deeper into our soul and our psyche. Not just from this one time of experiencing this ritual, but of each and every time that the names of these religions have been called out in our world. Each and every time the song has been sung. Each and every time that we have acknowledged the light that exists within each and every one of us beyond these four walls. And so today, in this celebration of Father's Day in the Western world in June 2018, I know for each of us that we honor the light within. We take a moment and honor the Father in our life. That which contributed to giving us life. Letting go of any emotional attachment to what was like in the journey of our relationship then, good, bad, indifferent. We let go of that and just simply honor the oneness of life itself that we call light in this moment. And it's from this place of honoring and receptivity and acknowledging the oneness that exists. But I know for each of us, we relax into the time that we share here together today, trusting that we're here to receive an awakening for ourselves, one that is founded in personal self-empowerment as we move along the journey of our life. Trusting that we leave here today better than we walked in, not as a judgment, but just simply more awake and alive and alert to why we got up and came here on a Sunday morning, a June gloom Sunday morning where we could have stayed in bed. We didn't. We came here. And so we trust that we're here by divine appointment, and we let this service unfold, bringing our energy, our own light, our receptivity, and our love to this experience. We let it be, as we say together. And so it is. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Yaron and James. So we got to talk this week while you were traveling on it. Were you still in Israel when we talked? Or? I was. He was. We were talking about FaceTiming, but that didn't happen. Isn't technology fantastic? I know I asked you that, and some of you go, but let's all say yes to that so that we can do that. Yes, right? And so this song that James is going to sing for you today, and Yaron is going to play the cajon. Yaron cajon. I just noticed I'm going to rhyme. Yaron cajon is going to play for us is one that we picked together today for the purpose of acknowledging fathers. Really, and it's going to seem like an odd choice, but I'll explain that later. All right, so James and Yaron.
You are the sunshine of my life. That's why I'll always be around. You are the apple of my eye. Forever you'll stay in my heart. I feel like this is the beginning, yeah. I've loved you for 1,000,000 years. And if I thought our love was ending, I find myself drowning in my own tears. Oh, you are the sunshine of my life, yeah. That's why I'll always stay around. You are the apple of my eye. Forever you'll stay in my heart, yeah. You must have known that I was lonely, because you came to my rescue. And I know that this must be heaven. How could so much love be inside of you? Oh, yeah, you are the sunshine of my life. That's why I'll always be around. So always be around, yeah. You are the apple of my eye. Forever you'll stay in my heart. Say, forever you'll stay in my heart, yeah. Forever you'll stay in my heart.
James Harper and Yaron Spiewak doing a little Stevie Wonder. Can never have too much Stevie Wonder, right? And you guys had a great Facebook acknowledgement during that time, so yeah. Woo, 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 right? More technology, I love it. So I'm going to start by reading something really quick for you this morning in my message. It's called Talking is Like Ketchup by Carmen Mariano from Braintree, Massachusetts. Who knew there was a Braintree in Massachusetts as a town? We knew there were. Several of you did. Let's acknowledge that for a moment. All right, so you ready? Here we go. This is by Carmen. I sat in my dad's living room reading one night while he watched television. An hour passed before I realized it, and I felt bad for not speaking during that time. I asked if he was okay, and he said, yes, I'm fine. Then I apologized to him for not talking more. Carmen, Dad replied, talking is like ketchup. If you like the meat enough, you don't need the ketchup. And if you like the company enough, you don't need the conversation. My dad never earned a college degree, but he was the smartest person I ever knew. Sweet, right? So today, yes, we can all applaud Carmen. So as I've said before, today is Father's Day. And it's something that I really invite us today to look at from a perspective that you've never looked at it before, without any emotional attachment to what that was or is going to be for you at any point in your life. That's just simply my invitation. One of the greatest gifts and blessings I have in my life is calling myself a father. Now that may come as a surprise to many of you that I'm actually a father. I have a son. I call him my soul son, and I'm going to get through this and not cry. I'm committed to that. I call him my soul son, and he's 28 years old. I don't speak of him often here, but his name is Kenny Borchard. He came into my life at the age of 15. He was having challenges at home because he was gay, and his home environment was no longer conducive for him to live there. I had met him at the teen camps that I was running for the Centers for Spiritual Living, and we developed an immediate bond. In so many ways, which we've grown to celebrate, he was like a mini me. We didn't always celebrate that, but we've learned to celebrate that he was like a mini me. His father had passed unexpectedly when he was very young. So he didn't really have a father figure in his life. Now, he had a stepfather at home, but their relationship was quite contentious. In so many ways, when Kenny came into my life, I could see this young man living a life that was much like mine at that age. 15 at the time. Clearly gay as a young person, not fitting into the environment in his home, wanting and knowing somewhere deep within him there was more and the world, and more for him and the world, but being fiercely independent and willing to take the world by the horns at a young age of 15, he knew he wasn't fitting in. So he left home, was accepted into a dance program at Idlewild Arts Academy, and never looked back. From there, we got him into college. He graduated early in 3 years, was planning to go to New York. There were some detours there. He's led an amazing life and is currently living in New York, working as a dance teacher and with the great hopes of eventually dancing on Broadway. Our relationship as father and son could not be better. And I could not be more proud of this young man. We're open and we're honest with each other. We celebrate each other's individuality. And most important, he lets me be his papa, sharing my wisdom, my insight, my guidance, and most importantly, my love. Yeah, let me have a moment. And at present, he's currently engaged to his fiancée named Morrow, who I love, respect, and adore. And we're so excited, we're planning a wedding for them at the end of October, which is a huge thing for me because I never thought as a gay man I would ever see men being able to get married or same sex, much less what I consider my son. Our journey as Papa and son began over 13 years ago. He's now 28, and we each live in each other's life in a way that is both miraculous and has never been the same since we entered into each other's life. And for that, I am eternally, eternally, eternally grateful. I always thought that I wanted children, but I never knew how that could work. As a gay man growing up in Georgia, it never seemed possible to me that I could actually father a child. And inasmuch as he is not biologically my child, he is my child in every other sense of the word. Now, I share this with you this morning as we celebrate Father's Day, because I want, as I said earlier, to awaken within us a new perspective in regards to the concept of a father. Doesn't mean that what you have in your life is a bad relationship or a bad perspective. It's just simply in this philosophy and in this teaching we're reminded every single day that new thoughts, new beliefs, new perspectives are the key to finding our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. I found this wonderful young man to come into my life and me into his life. And I made a commitment to him and to myself that I would not repeat what didn't work with my father-son relationship in my life. Not going to talk about that, but healing has happened. And make a commitment to this young man that every single day I would do what I could to get it as right as I knew how to do it. I found a quote to address this, and it's this: Father's Day is truly the day for those who give fully and freely of themselves to their children and to their families. There's no prize for those who've abandoned that role or circumvented reality to live in an altered illusion at the expense of those who require our love and our contributions. So I'd like to take a moment and acknowledge anyone in the room that is a father. If you're a father, would you please stand? We've got to have a couple. Just acknowledge them for a moment. Thank you. And if you're in the room and you have a father, raise your hand. Well, we all have or had, right? We all did, because it required a male to participate in you being here. We'll let it go in that. There's a quote by an author named Naveen John that I want to start with in the next stage of this, and this. Being a father has been, without a doubt, my greatest source of achievement, pride, and inspiration. Fatherhood has taught me about unconditional love, reinforced the importance of giving back, and taught me how to be a better person. I would assume for those of you in the room that just stood, that's the same for you. Whether you always felt like you rose to the occasion or not, it has certainly given you the opportunity to look at whether or not you're approaching life with unconditional love, and whether you're looking at it from the perspective of giving back, and for sure, looking at the reality of being a father has taught you how to be a better person, whether you rose to the occasion or not. The Stevie Wonder song that James and Yaron performed a moment ago, "You Are the Sunshine of the Light of My Life," I picked that because in listening to those lyrics, it reminded me of my relationship with my beloved Kenny. And it's this: "You are the sunshine of my life, that's why I'll always be around. You are the apple of my eye, forever you'll stay in my heart. I feel like this is the beginning, though I've loved you for 1,000,000 years, and if I thought our love was ending, I'd find myself drowning in my own tears." Well, clearly I find myself drowning in my own tears as I celebrate it not ending, but beginning in a new way. Last week, I was interviewed for a book on on a book on late 20th century metaphysical teachers. Specifically, I was being interviewed regarding my relationship with Dr. David Walker. Now, many of you in this room knew Dr. David Walker, who was the founding minister of this community now known as the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. Wherever he is on his plane of life is giving a hand for me actually being on here today with a jacket on. Dr. David used to believe that it was only that you could only go on stage and preach and teach and pray if you had a jacket and a tie on, and there were many times that he and I argued about that. And so this interview that I had, and I didn't really think about that when I brought the jacket today. I brought it because I just wanted to look chic, right? But that was something that was of importance to David, and it wasn't about a rule that one necessarily had to follow, even though he was all about rules. It was about bringing your best when you showed up to speak of this teaching and to give of your soul to those that you were imparting it to, hoping that your journey of sharing that would assist them in finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. This interview that I went through was very deep, it was very introspective, and was quite thought-provoking. One of the questions that was asked of me in this interview about Dr. David was this: what was your relationship with Dr. David Walker? And I took a deep breath and sat there for a while, and the interviewer was quite surprised. She thought I would immediately come back with an answer. And I listened to my intuition as the answer rose up. And my answer quite surprised me, just so you know. And here's the answer. He was my spiritual father. Right? Now, some of you in the room, he was your spiritual father, right? If that's the case, you can raise your hand, and let's honor him wherever he is today. Even though the relationship I had with him and my biological father was somewhat strained, and that was the case with David as well as time, what I knew for Dr. David Walker was that he was doing his absolute best in life to not only provoke within me, but within each and every one of us, knowing who we were as spiritual beings and expressing that at a higher level always. Would you guys agree with that? Because many of you got to the end of his being trained by nuns, and he was certainly a teacher much like a nun. And oftentimes I saw him in that habit. Anyway, so why did this answer come to me? Why did this come to me of David being my spiritual father? Because no matter his faults and no matter how contentious it was at times, the role that he played in my life was seeing life for me better than I could see it for myself. And there is occasion after occasion after occasion that I could share with you that he would come and he would literally, he was a big guy and I'm not a small guy, and he would grab me by the shoulders and he would say to me, "Here's what I just saw for you." And I would be like, "What?" And he would say, "Can you see that for yourself?" And my answer oftentimes was no. Occasionally it was yes. And he would say to me, I remember specifically one particular incident at what's now called what was the Wilshire Theater. What's it called now? The Saban. And it was backstage, and he asked me that question, and he said, "I'm going to see this for you until you can see it for yourself." He took on the role of developing in me, through me really, my destiny. He wanted for me, as he did for many of you, he was your spiritual father, what innately I knew I wanted for myself, but I didn't really know how to express it. And I know for many of you, as I said, that this was the same truth. Now, as most of you know, he was a stickler, pain in the ass, actually, really, about developing consciousness, right? His whole philosophy in this teaching was our responsibility on our journey in life is all about developing consciousness. He learned that from Dr. Bitzer, according to Dr. Neal. What that means is that at all times our focus on life should be about focusing on the principles of the philosophy of this teaching, which is that there's only one activity ever taking place, that is the mind of God. It is fully expressed by means of each and every one of us at all times, and that we live in a world that is governed by spiritual law. In other words, that which we are thinking becomes our beliefs. Those beliefs move into our consciousness, and our consciousness shows up in life because that's the way the universal law of life works. Dr. David was an old-schooled metaphysician who at the very core believed, as all of us do, I'm sure, that beliefs are everything. Beliefs are everything. And that's what I'm talking about today. Beliefs. The title of my message is Beliefs. My beliefs enhance my life. Say that with me, please. My beliefs enhance my life. For those of you that took the practical mysticism class with me, you know that one of our homework one week was to create affirmations that would stimulate us to think anew. And one of the ones that I put on my phone that I've had for actually prior to that and continued with that, and it shows up 4 times a day. It hits me here, right here on my phone, and it's this: my beliefs enhance my life. I have that there to remind me that as I'm on my personal journey of finding my personal self-empowerment through my spiritual awakening, the key to that, to living a better life, is tending to that which I am believing in my life. A belief, in metaphysical terms, is defined as this: conviction or feeling of the truth or a proposition or condition. In our meditation upstairs this morning, the focus was on our convictions. I invite you to think for a moment, what convictions do you hold in your life? What convictions do you hold within your life? I oftentimes speak about this in this teaching, is that one of the convictions that I think is critical in this philosophy is that there is a power in this universe, matters not what you call it, and you have to believe that it is unfailing. It is an unfailing power. If there's any smidgen, that's an old school metaphysical term too, any smidgen whatsoever in your belief system that the power, whether you call it God or Mary or Tina or the thing itself or whatever it is you call it, if you believe on any level whatsoever that it can fail you, this whole philosophy goes to the birds. And as I've said before, you might as well be practicing another philosophy/religion. The conviction must be that it is an unfailing power. And the way to know that is to review your life and ask yourself, has it ever failed you? And oftentimes the answer when I've asked that question is, yes, it has, from the individual that I asked the question. But it's important to really look at that, and the reality is it has never failed. But oftentimes we feel as if we've failed ourselves. And as a result of that, we then assign that feeling of failure to the power. But the power itself is unfailing, because it's the same power that gives not only life to all of us, but that has created the universe and keeps it in the order that it is while chaos is still taking place within the order. If the power itself could fail, it would all go to hell in a handbasket. Another old school metaphysical term. Belief is what I'm talking about today. It's important for us to know that our beliefs may go further than intellectual assent. In other words, that which we are agreeing to intellectually, while faith embodies a trust and confidence. And it's important for us to know that as we develop our beliefs in life, to move that into that faith, as Ernest Holmes says, is the faith of God. Meaning, with every cell and fiber of our being, knowing that we know that we know that we know that we know that the power is infallible and it is unfailing. It's important for us to know that as we look at this philosophy and this teaching and understand it, that we all become what we believe in life. Now, also it's important for us to know that every person on the planet shares this energy of belief. This is perhaps the most powerful and connecting force that we all share in life. And I personally believe that oftentimes that goes beyond the human. I think it's all sentient beings. Now, in our philosophy and our teaching, what we call that shared belief system is called consciousness. It's that which David was a stickler to, and Bitzer was, and Marion Moon, and the list goes on and on and on. And I'm not saying I'm not. I just think in modern day metaphysics, it's broadened a bit from there, not diminishing and letting go, just building on that. So what we're talking about here are beliefs. And today I want us to look at our beliefs, understanding that our beliefs, whether conscious or not, are a dynamic and alive within us. It's important to know that belief is the magnet that creates connection for all of us in life. The bond of belief itself is a universal force, and as humans, we all seek to believe first and foremost in ourselves. Would you guys agree with that? to believe in ourselves, and then to believe in something greater than ourselves. We want to revel in the glory of the connection between us and the power of the universe. This is what Dr. Holmes refers to in the first chapter of the book, The Science of Mind, that we teach and preach and practice here often as the thing itself. It's that energy, as I said a moment ago, that not only is life, but gives life. And it's that same energy that animates our beliefs into form. Now, it's important to know that your presence in the world, how you hold yourself, how you show up in life, what you give of yourself, how you give in life, and how you receive all that surrounds you in life in every form creates the circle of belief that shapes everything in your life. I'm going to say that again so you can take it in a new way. Your presence in the world, how you hold yourself, how you show up in life, what you give of yourself, how you give in life, and how you receive all that surrounds you in life in every form creates the circle of belief that shapes everything in your life. Take a moment in your mind's eye, just see that circle of belief in your life, meaning the beliefs that you hold in regards to life. And then if you want to know what those really are, look at your life. Your life is a reflection of that circle of beliefs. In other words, we become what we believe in life. And it's important to know that your beliefs are your roots. Now think about it for a second, that your beliefs are the roots. And from your roots stem all possibility of growth and transformation. Think of your beliefs as roots that are moving down into the depths of the consciousness of all of life itself. And that those beliefs that you hold are what then bring forth the opportunity in your life for growth and transformation. In other words, if you believe that you are whole, you are perfect, you are complete, you're worth everything in life that you can attract into your world, that you're abundant by nature, that you're healthy, that you're all of the good that exists in the universe, then you're going to bring forth into your field of experience possibilities that reflect those beliefs. And if you believe things that are contrary to that, the same is going to happen. You're going to bring forth experiences in your life or possibilities or what you think are not possibilities that reflect that mindset. It's important for us to understand that we're thinking individuals, and from our thoughts, we develop our beliefs. From our beliefs, we develop our possibilities. From our possibilities, we develop our potential for growth and transformation. I've been reading and listening a lot to Deepak Chopra, a modern-day metaphysician. I think he's one of the most brilliant people that walk this earth today, and here's how he addresses this concept. Every single day, our beliefs filter the experiences that you're having in life. Every single day, our beliefs filter the experiences that we're having in life, and this happens silently, and most often is happening, and we're not even aware that it's happening. In all of our lives, what we believe colors how we feel about ourselves, about other people, about our careers, about our status, about our family, about our self-worth, about our politics, about world events. Take that in for a moment. Every single thing that we believe in our lives colors how we feel about every single thing in life, whether we're aware of it or not. Now, it's important for us to know that belief is so powerful that it can make us see everything clear as day or see nothing at all. Belief can inspire the highest fulfillment or lead us to the most frustrating setbacks. Anyone in life ever had a frustrating setback? And what is your mindset when that happens? Is it there's good coming, or is it, oh God, there's more of this coming, right? What makes the difference in life is not the beliefs, he goes on to write, he says, that you choose, but how self-aware you are. That's what I'm talking about. When stuff shows up in life, do you start judging yourself about the beliefs that you have in regards to it, knowing that your beliefs are coloring the experience that you're having? Or do you see possibility for growth and transformation as a result of that which you're choosing to label as something other than good? It's all about how aware of the self we are. And it's from that awareness of self that we then color our thoughts, which then leads to our beliefs, which then leads to our possibilities, which then leads to the opportunity for growth and transformation. often in life, and I'm sure many of us in the room have heard this saying or have said it. Fill in the blank of what we're looking for. Well, I will believe it when I see it. Who in here says that by any chance? Good, none of you. You're good metaphysicians. You'll get a gold star on the way out with your cupcake. But it's important to take that statement as conscious metaphysicians and turn it upside down and affirm for ourselves, I will see it when I believe it. That's the key to understanding the way beliefs impact our lives. I will see it when I believe it. If you believe in your own self-worth, you will see it helping you in almost every situation in your life. If you believe in your inner strength, you'll see it every time you face a crisis. If you believe in love, it will appear in places where others see no love at all. The same is true for every single deeply held belief. Once you realize that your life is guided by belief, you discover a new perspective that shows you that the more dynamic your beliefs are, the more dynamic your life is. In other words, the more energy and attention, more active you are in your beliefs and that process of tending to them, the more active your life will be relative to those beliefs. When beliefs are dormant or sleepy, or we take them for granted, then the opposite takes place. We don't have an energy-infused life, or certainly not one that reflects our divinity. Now, ironically, this often applies to the things in life that we cherish the most. Certainly you believe that you cherish those that are close to you, correct? And that caring for yourself is important, and that you're aiming for more fulfillment. But until these beliefs are expressed through words and actions, in other words, until they become dynamic in your life, then they won't make a difference. Today, I invite you to open your awareness to your beliefs in a new way. To open your awareness to your beliefs so that your power of awareness can uplift and support you. Well, how do you do this? How do you do this? How do you awaken yourself, awaken your awareness so that the tending to your beliefs that you do uplifts and supports you? Well, I think you have to do that from living from a place of inquiry and then listening to the answer. Well, what would those questions be, you might ask? Well, here's what they are. What do I believe about? Fill in the blank. And then let the answer come up. And then ask yourself, is this true for me? And if the answer is yes, ask yourself, well, how do I know this? If the answer is no, then ask yourself, well, what do I really believe here? And then to go deeper, ask yourself, where did this belief come from? And then ask yourself, if this belief is not serving me, am I willing to work on it and take action? So let's look at that. Using love as an example. What do I believe about love? Well, for me, the answer is love is present in my life. It's evidenced by my soul son, Kenny. Well, is that true? Yeah, that's true. Because I've made a commitment to live from a place of being aware of my relationship with him and my relationship with myself, and honoring my relationship with my previous fathers, both spiritual and biological. Well, if the answer is yes, how do I know this? I just answered that question. If no, well, then what do I believe? Well, if the answer would have been no, which it was at some point in my life, it was because I believed that my father didn't really love me, or that I believed that my father was a pain in the fill in the blank, or that I believed that he was just really trying to give me a hard time because he thought I was less than. But those are all beliefs that we get to change. Well, going back to the answer of yes, I believe that love is present in my life, where did it come from? It came from knowing that I did the work, that I made the commitment, that I showed up. In other words, I tended to those beliefs, and that's what's required for all of them. They were dynamic. And the question is, if it was no, am I willing to work on this belief? And the question is, if it's yes, am I willing to work on this belief? The next question is, what actions will show this? What actions will show that will be showing up. It'll be showing up, in particular for Kenny, for his wedding, for the preparation of those weddings, to let him know every single day of life that I love him. And I love him because I'm choosing to love me first. Today, I encourage you and I invite you to know that what each of us believes is up to us. And life is impossible as mental beings without believing in something. The question is, what do you believe about yourself? What do you believe that's possible for you today? Not tomorrow, not next week. You start right now. Right now. And it just simply may be that you can get through the next 14 minutes of this service without running out the door. It might be that what you believe for yourself is that healing has just started happening in regards to something that has transpired in your life. It might be that what you can believe about yourself is that you're creating a new relationship mentally and emotionally and spiritually with someone of importance in your life. And it might be that that someone that is of importance in your life right now is you. So I invite you, I encourage you, I instruct you, if you will, to let today be the day that you choose to be aware of your power as a mental being, and in so doing, tend to what it is that you believe, trusting and knowing that the life that is before you, because the life behind you really doesn't matter, it's the life that is before you will get better and better and better and better, not because luck exists, but because you're a conscious being tending to your beliefs, tending to your thoughts, engaging in those possibilities of growth and transformation. In other words, you're playing a vital part of living an alive being, finding your personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, and the awakening is knowing that you are enough just as you are today. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So we have another wonderful gift of music for you right now. So I invite back James and your own.
Power of love is a curious thing. Make a one man weep and another man sing. Change a heart to a little white dove. More than a feeling, that's the power of love, yeah. Tougher than diamonds and rich like cream. Stronger and harder than a bad girl's dream. Make a bad one good, make a wrong one right. Power and love will keep you home at night. Hey, don't need money, don't take fame, don't need no credit card to ride this train. It's strong and it's sudden and it's cruel sometimes, but it might just save your life. Say it, that's the power of love. Yeah. The first time you feel it, it might make you sad. The next time you feel it, it might make you mad. But you'll be glad, baby, when you found that's the power that make the world go round. Say, don't need money, don't take fame, don't need no credit card to ride this train. It's strong and it's sudden and it's cruel sometimes, but it might just save your life. That's the power of love. I need your help. That's the power. Sing. That's the power of love. Feel the power. Yeah. Feel the power of love. That's the power. Feel the power of love. That's the power. Feel the power of love. That's the power. Sing it. That's the power of love. Feel the power. That's the power of love. Feel the power. That's the power of love. Feel the power. Say that's the power of love. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Sound beautiful.
James Harper. So nice to have you back.
Good to be back.
Good, right? Huey Lewis and the News song. How many of you guys know Huey Lewis?
Classic.
A classic. I love that. A classic. Perspective. It's all perspective. So this is our opportunity to give financially of our good to the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. And so I invite you to take out that which you're consciously giving. The opportunity to do that is in cash, check, and or credit card. If you'd like to give by credit card, you can see Reverend Edward in the back, and or go on our app in the App Store, CSLLA, or through our website, cslla.org. Click on Home and Donate. I did it on the app, so I've got my phone and my it's really not a phone, right? It's a PDA, right?
Truth.
Anyway, we're having our own little conversation, and they're not talking back to me, so I'm going to talk with you. So take out however you're giving and place it close to your heart if you feel so compelled to do so. We place it close to our heart because the heart is the symbol for love, and I invite us to give today with the power of love. So if you close your eyes, please, and just see that what you're giving, multiplying abundantly and going out into the world and making a difference. Touching individuals who may believe differently than you are, but letting this be evidence that you honor who they are on their path and the light within them. And then repeat after me, please. Conscious giving heals.
Conscious giving heals.
It awakens and enlivens my awareness.
It awakens and enlivens my awareness.
I am one.
I am one.
I am one with an abundant universe. So I give with love, and know that I know that it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. Thank you.
This to give to be simple, this to give to be free, this to give to come down to where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, we will be in the valley of love and the light. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shouldn't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So some announcements we have. For starter, well, I'll do this first. So big thank you to our musicians today, Yaron Spiewak and James Harper. Thank you. James, if they would like to find more of your music, where can they do that?
Instagram, James Harper Music.
Instagram, James Harper Music. For those that aren't Instagrammers,
Right. And there's some YouTube links as well if you search for them.
you can do it under YouTube. And if they're not YouTubers,
Got a Facebook page.
become YouTubers is what he's saying, or
yes,
Instagram. If
We'll
you
bring
need-
some CDs for next
If you
time. How
need
about
help
that?
with that, we have Sarah Normie here today, who works in the office with me, who just became a U.S. citizen this week. Let's acknowledge that. So she's going to kick me for saying this. I'm sure she would be happy to set up a YouTube or an Instagram tutorial for you, right? A big thank you to our practitioner du jour, moi. Our illuminator to Jesus Ernesto Reyes in the back, right? And our setup team, which is Bob, setup and audio, Bob, Jesus, me, and Rolando in the back, Erwin in the back, and Reverend Edward. Erwin is so excited right now because Mexico won. Assuming you guys know what that means, the World Cup. Yes, all right. Some announcements to go over. Wednesday morning, we'll continue with our online guided meditation. It starts at 8 a.m. If you'd like to receive information about it, you can find that on our website, csl-la.org, or through our weekly e-newsletter. If you're not receiving that or you'd like to do so, you can get that information at the table in the back with Reverend Edward. Also, the Spirit of Dance, the dance class continues on Friday morning at 11:30 at the Hollywood Dance Center. There's a lot of fun. Remind you to please follow us on social media through Instagram and or our Facebook page, Center for Spiritual Living. It's known as well. I want to remind you that this upcoming Sunday is our Young Leader Sunday. So it's next Sunday here at 10 o'clock. Please come and fill the house for our young leaders. They're really excited about sharing this service with you next Sunday morning. And for those that are not young leaders, but that are considered wise ones, 55 and older, there's a class that's beginning for you. Class, it's really more of just a space to come together and both share what's going on with your life and to go through a program that Reverend Lenore has put together. It's here on the last Thursday of June. I think that's the 28th. It's 10:30 to 12. And that's what we have. We've got some great guest speakers coming up down the road. Right now we have Dr. Sue Rubin booked in July. You guys said you wanted to hear her, so we booked her. And I'm speaking here at Congregation Kol Ami the last Friday night. I believe it's the last Friday night in July at their Friday night Shabbat. And then we're going to have Rabbi Denise come and speak here one Sunday to you all to trade that off, which will be a lot of fun. I'd like to invite Sandy up, Sandy Rovetta, one of our board members, to share with you about the picnic, and she's going to use this microphone right here. Yeah, I think you just need to let it, let's see. There you go.
Good morning. As most of you know, we're having our CSL picnic on Sunday, July 8th at the Cheviot Hills Park. That's on Pico, right across from 20th Century Fox. And there are sign-up sheets out in the back with menu suggestions. So just when you sign your name, put next to it what you want to bring. There's also a sign-up sheet for volunteers to help set up and clean up. And the setup starts at 9 o'clock. So whoever is going to help us with that, you know, of course you won't be at the service that morning. We don't need a lot of people, but some. And also, I made copies of a map of the park, and the picnic area that will be in is circled. And on the back of that sheet of the map are the rules and regulations of the park. No alcohol, no smoking, no live music, et cetera, et cetera. So just take a look at that. And lastly, if there's anyone who feels that they are really good with games and could spearhead and put together some fun games for us to play for a little while there, please see me after, okay? So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope to see you all there. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandy. And it's going to be in all of your best interest for someone to step up to do the games, because otherwise I'm going to do them, and they're going to be fun games. Well, I shouldn't have said that. Now you guys are going to want me to do it. No, I'm just kidding. I forgot to announce there's some flyers out that John Allendorfer brought that for a gathering called A Different Kind of Gathering, adults 55 plus. That's saying a lot in West Hollywood, a different kind of gathering in West Hollywood. For Seniors in Action, Community Connections and Conversations, it's on the 4th Tuesday of the month. The next one's June 26th from 2 to 3:30 p.m. in the West Hollywood Library. So if you're interested in that, avail yourself of that information. A lot of some new people here today. Thank you all for coming. It's great to see you here. Hope that it's been something that has brought great value to your life for this time that we've shared together, and know that we're here every Sunday morning. And so thank you for being here. So let's close with a spiritual mind treatment. So as we close today, we do so as I speak word into the law of life for each and every one of us here, knowing that we covenant and commit today to a new awareness of ourself. Not that place that is governed by the brain, but that place deep within us that is known as the soul, the essence of life itself. And it's from this newfound awareness that we tend to what it is we believe about ourselves. Letting go of any beliefs that contradict us being a divine being, expressing ourselves fully as we navigate the journey of life. I know for each of us today that we enjoy life itself. That we allow peace and power and beauty and joy and love and light and wisdom to be present and our thoughts and our beliefs. Trusting that as we tend to these beliefs, these spiritual truths about us, that we attract into our world opportunities and possibilities that reflect these qualities of who we innately are. And so we grow, and we grow, and we grow. Not externally. That's a byproduct of what we tend to internally. And the light that we called forth at the beginning of this celebration service shines brighter and brighter and brighter, not only within us, but we see it in all of humanity as we walk our pathway of life, being empowered in a personal way, in a new way, awakened to our spiritual nature in a new way. And we color all of that with a deep sense of gratitude for having the opportunity to lead this very blessed experience called life. We let it be and say together. And so it is. There's stuff to chew on and drink outside. Enjoy. Have a great Sunday, a great Father's Day, and our musicians will lead us out. Thank you. 1, 2, 3.